Bismillah. It's your brother Alaz, man, tapping in from the Macon, you know what I'm saying? We gotta get our money right, you know what I mean? So listen, said I'm rolling to the store on a $20 budget, $20 budget, $20 budget. And if you know about it, then go ahead, bump it, go ahead, bump it. Listen, look. 21s, 4 5s, 2 10s, 120. Yes, I got some money, but my pennies ain't plenty. Pockets not empty, but they got a lot of room. My car just go ver, cause I can't afford to own. This girl asked a dude if he ballin', said he might be. She came and asked me, and I told the girl no. Don't have a lot of bread, see, just a little dough. Some have a lot of cheese, I just have a Cheeto. Hey, it's cool though, cause I make it work like a job. Saving up my pennies, I be building like balls. When I hit the grocery, I just play it cool. Wanna save your money? Let me tell you what I do. Ay, I look for the cereal that costs the least cash. So I don't get the boxes, I just get the bags. Folk be getting name brands even though they po. I just keep it real and get the ones made by the store. Hey, I'm rolling to the store on a $20 budget, $20 budget, $20 budget. And if you know about it, then go ahead, bump it, go ahead, bump it, go ahead, bump it. Said I'm rolling to the store on a $20 budget, $20 budget, $20 budget. And if you know about it, then go ahead, bump it, go ahead, bump it, go ahead, bump it. Look, I wrote a song about a $20 budget, and ever since I made the song, I've been trying to double it, triple it, make my money grow like an embryo, feed and nurture funds, giving birth to wealth and cash flow. I know it too well, now I'm about to know paid, cause I'm about to introduce myself like, hey, what up? Heard a lot about you, man, and I'm a big fan, and I would like to stay in touch if I can. It makes sense if you're busy and you had other plans, but if we could be friends, man, now that would be grand. Then billions, God willing, build and bank like SunTrust. Store it up in Citizens Trust so I can fund us like Central Air and Heat. These dollars circulating, connected minds and pockets is what we cultivating. A small farmer like Carver was, I'm no dummy. Planting dollars in my pockets, growing money till I'm rolling to the store on a $20 budget, $50 budget, $100 budget. And if you know about it, then go ahead, bump it, go ahead, bump it, go ahead, bump it. Till I'm rolling to the store on a $1,000 budget, $1 million budget, $1 billion budget. And if you know about it, then go ahead, bump it, go ahead, bump it, go ahead, bump it. Yeah, that's how we moving, man, you know what I'm saying? We all know the bottom, but you know what I'm saying? Just cause we started, that don't mean we gotta stay there, you feel me? We gon' keep building, man. Keep the same integrity, keep the same principles, but at the same time, grow that bank account. You did.
All right, what's up? What's up? This is what's new.
Yeah.
Hey.
What's up?
This guy right here, I've been on a long time. So, but I'm a little nervous because he kind of intimidates me a little bit. I don't know why, but he does. So I'm gonna give an intro to Mr. Vinson. What is it? Alaz? Muhammad.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. This guy is amazing. You know, he's probably blush, but during my research, he's an amazing brother, young man, and I hope he continues doing what he's doing. So at the age of 9, he co-founded Real Talk Hip Hop. And if I'm wrong, you correct me, all right?
16.
16? Mm-hmm. I thought you were 9. You weren't.
You know what I'm saying? 9, 16.
Okay. Okay, Real Talk Hip Hop Summit to teach Macon's youth about hip hop through dance and music. Still a young age, good age, doing good in the hood. Yeah. Then he became the trumpet arranger and musician for Kings by this, multi-platinum Grammy-nominated producer Marcos. What's this? Cosign, yeah. What's the last name?
Palacio.
Palacio. Featuring Idris.
Idris Elba, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Give me a little bit of information on that.
Yeah, so one of my biggest mentors is Marcos Cosan Palacios, originally. His family's from Panama, but you know, he grew up in Chicago, and just an incredible producer. Like you said, multi-platinum, award-winning producer. And I met him at an ASCAP writers event. It was a roundtable that was created by Moya and Kroom, or curated by Moya and Kroom at the time, that was working with ASCAP. I believe she's with Fender now. But it was a room full of producers being able to, you know, play our music, and Cosign was the featured keynote for the event. And I approached him at the end, you know, let him know, you know what I'm saying, the different things that I was working on. And I was like, you know, definitely would love to learn from you. And kept in touch. And I reached out one day, and he was working on the record. And he was like, you know, I'm gonna send this to you, man, and you know, just, you know, do your thing on it. And ended up arranging, and the way that the record was, he sent it out to a lot of different people in his circle, and allowed them, I mean, from Philip Cornish, who's an incredible pianist and musician, Vinson, very incredible writer.
Who's Kevin Ross?
Kevin Ross is a phenomenal singer. He actually was on the remix. So it was two remixes that happened from.
Is Kevin from Macon?
Nah, Kevin, I don't know actually where Kevin's from, but he's definitely a very notable, you know what I'm saying, artist. And he was on the remix. So it was two remixes that happened. The first remix was with Kevin Ross, and the second one was with G Herbo, out of Chicago. So yeah, but just a dope, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Cosign is an actor, producer, radio host, father, husband, just a dope brother.
Okay. So another one of his accomplishments, executive producer of a whole nother with an O.
Yeah.
Another World featuring DKOMX, and I believe I've seen him in Macon before.
Yeah, for sure.
I think there was maybe Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So inspired by what? Ta-Nehisi
Coates.
Oh, wow, these names.
Yeah.
New York bestseller, author, Between the World and Me.
Yep.
And this was actually, they did like an adaptation in Apollo. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote the book Between the World and Me as inspired by a conversation that he had with his son about the realities of black men in America. You know, his having a conversation with his son just about being able to navigate what it is having a different standard of justice, a different standard of humanity that often we face as black men in America. So being inspired by that, DKOMX's father, Dr. Kevin Pee Wee Williams, who actually is a leadership professor at Mercer University, he brought the book to us, and he was saying, you know, man, y'all should check it out, you know what I mean? And it'll be dope if you all created a piece of art, you know what I mean, based on this book. So, you know, we read the book, you know what I'm saying, and ended up writing about what we experienced as being in a world, you know what I'm saying, being black in this world that a lot of times is different based on your race, based on your socioeconomic status, but, you know, starting with race. And even though a lot of people don't want to think about that these days, there's a lot of the remnants that are still at play. So me and DK wrote from two different perspectives. Me coming from, you know what I'm saying, being an 80s baby, him being, you know what I'm saying. I feel like DK, you know what I'm saying, I ain't gonna put him out there like that, but it's either 90s or 2000s, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, yeah. I met DK. Yeah, and I met DK going as a songwriting coach at the Otis Redding Music Camp. Okay. So I serve as the lead songwriting coach for the Rap Room, the world famous Rap Room. And the Otis Music Camp happens every summer where students are able to come in and write songs, and they do all different genres, hosted by the Otis Redding Foundation, who teaches all throughout the year. But the focus on that songwriting camp is for 2 weeks. We just lock in and write.
Yeah, that was my next one. He a hip hop coach and a resident instructor for the oldest music camp and weekly audio engineer lessons. That's what you were presenting to them.
Yeah, at the time. So and more so music production. And with just to circle back a little bit with DK on Mex, his name means DK over music.
Okay.
So being able to connect with him and being able to connect with the different youth there.
What's his real name?
So Dakari.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's his name has a huge impact on just who he is as a person because it has a lot of meaning and context. I mean, I'll let him tell you his full name, but DK was definitely a standout along with different ones, you know what I'm saying, that I've been able to connect with. But because of his parents and because of the village that he has, we were able to be able to create music even beyond that. So he took the writing from the camp and the exercise from the camp and continued to level up outside of the camp and create music and drop music on his own. And I was honored to be able to be executive producer on his first project, Wait Till Sunday, and even some of his other projects. But that project in particular with A Whole Nother World, we were able to perform, you know, in many different places, from the Gathering Spot in Atlanta to, I forget the name of the museum in Atlanta. It's an art museum that they actually performed the adaptation for the book. Killer Mike, I believe, was a part of it. T.I. was a part of it. Pauletta Washington was a part of it. And yeah, like there was so many incredible artists, and we were able to actually perform, you know what I'm saying, at the after party for it.
And I think you all probably collab because both of you are on that positive level. You're not trying to be out to present anything as negative, calling women bees.
Right.
And well, H's or W's, depending on how you spell it.
For sure.
Depending on how you spell it.
For sure.
So and that's another reason why I wanted to interview you, because you are a positive brother. You also curated for Black Note Fridays.
Yep. So Black Fridays was the and I just want to make sure I'm getting this information correct.
Okay.
Let me see. Yep, Pauletta Washington, that's Denzel Washington's wife.
Okay.
She was also a part of the event, and I want to get this venue. Let me see. Between the World and Me.
What was this, in California?
Nah, this was in Atlanta.
Atlanta?
Yeah, Atlanta.
Oh wow! I didn't know she was a part of that community.
So it was a lot of different people that ended up, they brought in from different cities to perform in Atlanta because it was a tour. Because Angela Bassett was in New York, Mamona Yusuf was a part of when it was at, I think, the Apollo. A lot of different people were involved as it toured different places. So, you know, a lot of different people from Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, and then outside came as well. So this was, I want to say, it looks like the Woodruff Arts Center.
Now this is not the Black Note Friday. This is what we were previously talking about. Yeah. A Whole Nother World.
John F. Kennedy Center for Performing Arts. Let me see. That was Apollo Theater in John F. Kennedy. That was in New York. And then when they came to Atlanta Symphony Hall. And then the museum.
Do you know Kamala Forbes? Did you meet her personally?
We did. And we met her at the Gathering Spot as well as the performance. And she was also gracious enough, once again, during that event at the Gathering Spot, to allow us space to be able to perform. And then at the after party, it was a museum right next to the Atlanta Symphony Hall that we performed at. Yep.
Great.
So Black Note Fridays, or Black Fridays, was at Brookhaven Lounge. So
okay, I remember Brookhaven.
Yeah, so we started a platform that I started in California, Santa Ana, California,
called the Collab Project, which is cool collaborations through music. It ended up, we had a residency at a Brookhaven Lounge, and then the opportunity, and that was on Thursday, and the opportunity opened it up for us to have another residency on that Friday. So myself along with Peyton Battle and Savon King, who are the founder and co-founder and music director of Rock Solid Music, we collaborated to be able to create.
I was just gonna ask you who that was.
Yeah, we collaborated, and Rock Solid Music is a phenomenal collective that not only here in Macon has helped to be able to give a spotlight on musicians that may not have normally gotten the spotlight. You know, a lot of times when it comes to music, when it comes to the music industry, just any type of platform, when you have notable people, a lot of times that ends up being the only people that people know. But like you were talking about before we started, there's so many people that are talented, you know what I'm saying? And because they don't have the spotlight, it's hard for them to be able to get that notoriety and be able to get that recognition. So Rock Solid, seeing that opportunity and seeing the need for that, created a space to give a platform to a lot of musicians that may not have been in the spotlight already and had that spotlight, but have been putting in the work and were talented. So us collaborating with that, they not only did this in Macon, but they also have a group in Nashville, and they work with artists in Nashville, and they are, you know, continuing to expand the platform. But Reese Soul was another artist that I connected with. Yeah, okay. Reese Soul. So he's a phenomenal singer, songwriter, producer, engineer, and also worship leader at his church. This brother,
in Macon?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So like, and he also works as the chief audio visual engineer at the Otis Redding Foundation as well. So connected with him as well. He would play a lot with us with Rock Solid. And then and I would collaborate with Rock Solid. So Rock Solid had their platform, I had my platform as Alaz and the Collab Project, and we would collaborate together with both of our you know, platforms. So yeah, every Friday we would have live music, and we would spotlight our artists at a Brookhaven Lounge, similar to the Collab Project but different. The Collab is an open mic and jam session. So while we would have just people that could come in, do an open mic, sign a list, and do their thing, we would have a feature, but the Black Note Fridays was specifically for a featured artist. So no open mic, just their set, and it was really dope, real
So
dope.
what did you like about Brookhaven compared to all the other venues in Macon?
What I really liked about Brookhaven was, number one, the vision of Darren Ford. So Darren Ford, phenomenal entrepreneur that came with a vision for a classy venue that had that was really promoting Black excellence. Even when you looked at the pictures on the wall, you had Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong and Otis Redding and Little Richard. So really not just looking at what happened in the past, but us create. I mean, you hear about the Harlem Renaissance, you know what I'm saying, with Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston. But having a modern day platform, even when we think about Ruth Hartley Mosley and her, the dignified aesthetic that she would have, even if you go to her house today, there's a time and place for everything, you know what I'm saying? So like, when we, you know, casual and kicking it, you know what I'm saying, there's a time for that, but a lot of times we don't have spaces to be able to, you know what I mean, show our refinement, you know what I'm saying, and be able to have spaces where, you know, we put on, you know what I'm saying, our best, and we move in that way. So for me, Brookhaven was a place for us to be able to continue to work towards just tapping into our culture, you know.
Now, he also was the executive producer of the 15th annual Real Talk Hip Hop Summer, which they still it is still relevant today. It's still relevant, and if you're from Macon, you already know what's up with that.
Yeah.
So we don't really have to go, you know, talk about that one too much unless you want to.
Yeah. So
I guess 2025.
Yeah.
Talk about what's going on in 2025.
Yeah, and actually 2024, this year will be our 19th anniversary.
Oh, so it's not here. Oh.
Yeah, for sure. So it's on the way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
2024.
So June 14th, and just so everybody knows, the Real Talk Hip Hop Summit is a part of Georgia Juneteenth Week. So we have been blessed in this city with the work of people like my father, George Fadil Muhammad, my mother, Regina Muhammad, Glory Sase, Kirkland Hodges, Abijah.
Mm-hmm.
With the work that they've done, we have been able to have the Kwanzaa Cultural Access Center as well as Torchlight Academy Incorporated that collaborate to have established the longest running Juneteenth event in the state of Georgia. So we're celebrating 32 years of Juneteenth celebration, and now Macon Black
Before
culture.
it was popular.
Exactly, and now, you know what I mean, connecting even with new groups that are emerging like Macon Black culture.
Mm-hmm.
We had the first parade last year in the city, and we're gonna have another one this year that'll be on June 16th. But just to let people know about the events that are happening this year, June, and I'll give you the Hip Hop Summit, the 2 festivals, and then the parade. And of course, there's going to be a lot of other events going on, so people can check that out. Kwanzaa Cultural Access Center on Facebook. So Kwanzaa Cultural Access Center on Facebook, you can check out all the different events. But between Torchlight Academy, Kwanzaa Cultural Access Center, and Making Black Culture, there are going to be a lot of incredible events going on. So June 14th, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Douglas Theater. The Real Talk Hip Hop Summit is going to be focusing on women in hip hop. So every element from MCing, DJing, breaking, graffiti, beatboxing, hip hop entrepreneurialism, hip hop fashion, all of that will be represented by women.
That.
So the elements of hip hop started, if you go,
because the females put the first hip hop artists on the books. You know
I mean,
saying?
if you think about just people in general, the reason why we want to make sure that we celebrate women is because it's a woman's choice whether she chooses to bear life. However, when she does choose to bear that life, it's the only way that life can be experienced in this plane of existence. So whether we talk about, you know what I mean, the mothers of hip hop, because you can't have a Kool Herc if you don't have his mother. Whether we talk about the women MCs like Roxanne Shante and, you know what I mean, Queen Latifah and, you know, MC Light and a lot of these different, you know, artists, you know, you have such a huge influence of women in hip hop that isn't seen a lot of times.
And they had to endure a lot too.
Yeah. And we only see one side of it a lot of times because we salute, you know what I mean, all of the women in hip hop. However, many times because of just who's in control of media, we don't see the full spectrum of women in hip hop. You know what I mean? So with that being said, the elements of hip hop came from, there's a lot of different ways that people talk about it, but Kool Herc, in the South Bronx, he was DJing a party actually for his sister, and he coming out of the history or coming out of the tradition of the Caribbean from Jamaica and the house party and the dance hall tradition.
We're going all the way back to the 70s because that's when it actually like really
exactly
70s.
That's when a lot of people give the origin of hip hop back in, you know what I mean, on Cedric Avenue, you know what I'm saying, in the South Bronx. That party in that, you know what I'm saying, in that building was the birthplace. A lot of people give the origin and the birthplace of hip hop with DJ Kool Herc. But then you have the Black Spades, you have the Zulu Nation, and you have all of those that started to create the culture and starting to take ownership and create, like you said, when we talk about it. So Sugar Hill Gang is
the first one to put it on vinyl.
They're celebrated as the first hip hop record to be able to be put out. So Rapper's Delight was given that credit. But there's a lot of debate and a lot of different people that have their different origin stories of hip hop. Our whole thing that we talk about at the Real Talk Hip Hop Summit is making sure that with that culture that was started, because every community has a culture. Every genre has a culture. The way you know jazz is because of the harmony and the certain instrumentation that's used, the rhythmic sensibility. The way that you know pop, or the way that you know rock, once again, the instrumentation that's used, the techniques that are used. But the way that you know hip hop is because of the elements of hip hop. So once again, we start with knowledge, because you have to have knowledge to be able to do any element, you know what I'm saying, of hip hop. The second thing that you have to look at and recognize is the DJ. Because without the DJ, you don't have anything to rap over. You don't have, you know, you can do spoken word and poetry all you want, a cappella. But when we talk about hip hop, this is something that the music is the bed. And even when we talk about mental health, we come from a lot of places where it's dilapidated, run down, you know what I mean? We're dealing with a lot of poverty, and that comes with a lot of depression, that comes with a lot of anxiety. And the music was one of the first ways that we had a release. That
was our therapy.
Yeah, that we had a way to be able to heal, because one of the biggest ways to get out of depression, to be able to get out of anxiety, to be able to get out of that rut is movement. So the music was something that the DJs became doctors, really, you know what I'm saying, to be able to have movement in the community. But then from the movement, you had the MC that went from just, you know, talking to people at the party to actually starting to rhyme and, you know what I'm saying, create
and
those.
Actually, it probably was actually some form of therapy, because you have to move in order for your body to function.
Exactly.
And clean itself. You know, the lymph nodes and the lymphatic system and all of that. You need movement in order for that, you know, to take place. So dancing was actually helping us physically. I didn't even know it.
And then the writing part, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you think about journaling and be able to have...
What side of the brain is that? Right or left?
Sure. You know what I'm saying? I actually...
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's right.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, we're gonna say right, you know what I'm saying? We act like we ain't got technology today, man, you know what I'm saying?
I think it's math is the left.
I think so.
And writing and like your creative side is the right side. So look it up.
You got
Google it. Go to Google University.
Hey, look, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no shame in the game. Okay, so boom. Left brain, analytical, methodical, logical. Right brain, artsy, creative, emotional. You was in here. You was in here. Yo.
All right.
So,
something.
You know what I'm saying? With writing, being able to have self-awareness, being able to have even the therapy of emotional intelligence and knowing, okay, what am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling this way? As a rapper, a lot of times we think of rappers as artists and entertainers, but rappers are also writers. Some of the greatest writers that have ever been known to humanity. Of course, you know what I mean? We salute Shakespeare, we salute, you know what I'm saying, Robert Frost, or whoever you want to talk about. But when you talk about, you know what I mean, the artists of today, the artists of, you know what I mean, history, from Rakim to Nas to, like I said, MC Lyte to, you know what I mean, you get into, like I said, Queen Latifah, Rhapsody, Kendrick, you know what I'm saying, and I mean, we can't throw out Lil Baby, you know what I'm saying? We can't throw out, you know what I mean, Cardi B, we can't throw out none of, like, the writing, whatever your taste is, we got different tastes and we got different things that we, you know, that's our cup of tea or whatnot, but rappers are writers, you know what I mean? So, with those elements, the thing that we do with the Hip Hop Summit is we show youth, we bring them face to face with entrepreneurs that have created careers out of their gifts, because so many times we think that the only way that we
and that's what you do at the Hip Hop Summit.
Yeah, we show youth how to create careers through the elements of hip hop. So that they are not confined to thinking that the only way that they can create income for themselves or create livelihood for themselves is for somebody else to give them a job. Nothing wrong with you having a career and having a job, but even if you have that, there should always be something that we're doing for ourselves.
They need to have talent.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Still gonna have to put that work in.
You got to.
Is easy.
And find something that you're doing for yourself. You know, we were taught by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan that you do for self or suffer the consequences. So what that means is if I'm on, you know, I have a position, you know, as a doctor, I have a position as a program manager, whatever it might be, there is no guarantee that that hospital will always be in business. There's no guarantee that you know, business will always be flourishing. And if they decide to make layoffs, if they decide to make, you know, a cut, if you weren't doing something for yourselves, that was your only, you know, livelihood. So
you need a plan B, and sometimes C.
And you, shoot, like, and I say even beyond a plan B, a more thought out plan A. Cause like, it doesn't have, cause a lot of times plan B is like, all right, that's a hobby, that's secondary. It's like, nah, this is all a part of plan A.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
an extension.
yeah, don't put all your eggs in one basket. But to close the point on the Real Talk Hip Hop Summit.
Okay.
Show them all of the elements of hip hop. Remind them, and starting with black youth in the city of Macon, black boys and black girls, young black men and young black women, elders, black men and black women, reminding us that this culture belongs to us, but also that it's a culture that's open to anybody, no matter what your race, creed, or color is. As long as you respect the ones who created this culture, you know, you can be able to have access to the culture and be able to benefit from it as well.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so to add on to that accomplishment, we're going to go to the next one. A grant recipient from the Griffith Family Foundation and Macon Arts Alliance.
Yeah, you go.
What's up with that?
Yeah, so we were able to receive a $10,000 grant from the Griffith Family Foundation and a $1,000, praise God, and a $1,000 grant from the Macon Arts Alliance to be able to create programming in the city. So we put the $10,000 towards the Real Talk Hip Hop Summit. I forget which year it was, but we brought in Mamuna Yusuf. We brought in, so Mamuna Yusuf, just to give you a little bit of background on her, is also a multi-instrumentalist, but vocalist, MC, I'm gonna say producer, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's definitely working to get deeper into her production bag, but the things that she does with polyrhythm and, you know, different harmonies, if you've ever seen any of her shows, a lot of times she uses a looping station, and she's producing live on stage. Wow. You know, she's been featured on NPR Tiny Desk. She's been featured at the Kennedy Center, and she's been all over the world, you know what I'm saying, as an incredible MC, an incredible singer, an incredible artist. We are also both on the artist roster for Iman, the Inner City Muslim Action Network, that their headquarters is in Chicago, but they also have a satellite campus in Atlanta, Georgia, and they focus on health, wellness, and healing in the inner city. So we met at an artist retreat in Lake Geneva, I believe it was, and we were able to connect and be able to, you know, stay connected. And I wanted to make sure that not only here in Macon that we're able to celebrate. The first thing is celebrating the artists here in Macon. So making sure that we have them, you know, featured at the Hip Hop Summit, but also being able to connect with our family nationally and internationally, because hip hop is an international culture. So we brought in Mamuna Yusuf, we brought in DJ Dummy, who is DJ for J. Cole, as well as, yeah, it's a funny name.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but he also like has his own DJ school where he teaches people how to DJ. But he brought in, you know what I'm saying, that expertise that he's had working with Common, like I said, J. Cole, and a lot of different artists, where he can show youth how to actually DJ on a world-class level. We were able to bring in Quick, B-Boy Quick, who is a part of the, he's a part of the ATL Funk Lords and the Zulu Nation as well. So like, it was a lot of just world-class people that we were able to bring in and connect. And this was also during the pandemic that we were able to do it. So being able to connect youth with these incredible artists from around the world.
Awesome.
And the last one that we were able to connect them with we're sitting in the Clutch Factory right now. So the Clutch Factory is the brainchild of the CEO and president, Sabir Muhammad.
Okay.
And Sabir, Sabir is an artist. He's an entrepreneur, as well as just.
He's gonna be my next person that I interview.
Yeah. So he's definitely a visionary where he created a music and media platform where we're able to come in and be able to create, but also focus on ownership, being able to own the things that we create. So he was featured as well, a local, but also globally impactful artist here in Macon, as well for that hip hop summit.
And speaking about owning your it's your masters.
Yeah, and just your intellectual property.
Yeah, intellectual property. What did you participate in the workshop that they had at the Mercer? There was a
at Capricorn.
Capricorn, concerning masters and teaching about intellectual property.
I was out of town when they did it. I did hear about it, and Sabir did attend. I think my mother attended.
Okay.
But with the things that are happening at Capricorn through Mercer Music, you have Rob Evans, as well as you have Bob Conrad, and a host of a lot of other phenomenal people that are creating platforms for the community at large to be able to have access to knowledge, information, as well as resources. Okay. The rich history of Capricorn Studios, of course, goes all the way back to Otis Redding and Phil Walden. Having Redwall, that was a collaboration between both of them to be able to create the studio. Mm-hmm. Of course, unfortunately, Otis Redding transitioned after the plane crash. However, the studio still was able to be utilized by the Allman Brothers and different ones. However, we're working to be able to continue to build on the legacy of Otis Redding. That is an unfinished story, you know what I mean, and a legacy of making music, and even James Brown getting his start here, you know what I mean, right. Coming to learn from Little Richard.
There are a couple of guys that are here that played with him.
Yeah. And even if you think about Hamp Swain, you know what I'm saying, as a DJ and the things that he was doing at WIBB. So that legacy is huge. So to answer your question, there was a lot of there are often educational events that are happening at Capricorn Studios, and we recently did a tour, a city tour. We got a grant from the Community Foundation of Central Georgia to be able to do a tour to engage youth during spring break, to be able to make sure that a lot of times when we look at what goes on with youth, the main reason why we're getting into negative things is because our energy isn't directed into constructive opportunities. If we don't have people to guide us, me growing up, if I didn't have someone to guide me, parents, mentors, people that were influential, I had a lot of energy growing up, and I definitely could have, put it in a lot of negative places, but I was guided. And not say that I had a perfect, track record, but I had a winning track record because my L's were outweighed by my wins because I had so much influence from, the community and the village.
I've actually asked some young people. I used to work with a lot of young people. I asked them, what is it that you would like to see in Macon, Georgia? What would you like to see? Because a lot of times they'll say there's something to do in Macon. And I'm like, what do you want to do?
Yeah,
what
sure.
is it? And they couldn't come up with anything.
Right.
They're like, we don't do that. They just go home and watch television.
Yeah.
They don't really do anything.
And
they couldn't give me one.
And the thing is, when you're young, you don't have a lot of experience to be able to formulate those type of answers. So our whole thing is, we have to nurture them until they get to the point where they're developed enough to be able to have the answers. Because what's going to happen is, what happened, I'll tell you with me, is when I was growing up, like, okay, you don't really know what to do with the energy. So we get ready to put you into, you know what I'm saying, different, whether it be martial arts, you know what I'm saying, gymnastics, dancing.
Summer program.
Yeah, like put you in it. So then when you get to a certain point,
Camps.
yeah, now you can start to say, all right, now you had me doing this, but now we got the hip hop summit. Now I can start to create some type of programming and types of events. And if that village nurtures, you know what I mean, the youth, they'll get to a point where they can start to create, you know what I mean, for themselves. But in the meantime, just give them direction, you know what I'm saying, and encourage
Because
them.
sometimes they don't know what they're going to do.
1,000%.
Yeah. They don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know. All right. Let's see. Now, with all of his accomplishment, he still has time to talk to the people in the community concerning his faith, and he also distributes the final call.
Facts.
Yeah.
You see it. You see it. Bell.
That's it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the late. That's actually not the latest final call, but that's the one that came out right before.
Somebody used to send give me these, and they stopped bringing them to me. I don't know why.
Well, yeah, you can always get them here.
Thank you.
So with the Final Call newspaper, this is an international black-owned newspaper that was started by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, started as the Muhammad Speaks, and eventually became the Final Call, and it's the final call to Islam. Now, a lot of people, when they hear the word Islam, because there's been so much propaganda put around it, they don't realize that Islam is an Arabic word that means peace through submission to the will of God. So whether you're a Christian, you consider yourself a Christian, you consider yourself a Hebrew, you consider yourself a Jew, you consider yourself even someone who isn't religious, with being obedient to the laws of righteousness. Even if you don't have a religion per se, I know anybody that I've talked to, they can be atheist, agnostic, they can have, you know what I'm saying, a religious tradition, they demand respect. Like, even if I don't go to a church or a mosque or a synagogue, you're not going to disrespect me. If I have a way of life, or I have, you know what I'm saying, a way that I move, I'm asking for you to respect me. So that's a law that is in our nature. We think that we just coming up with it, but we know that we deserve that respect because we come from a creator that demands respect.
And when you see them, you automatically respect them because they put in the work. So I mean, now, I want to ask you. Now, when I used to read this, in the back of it, at one particular time, they were purchasing land, or they were obtaining donations for land.
Yeah.
What happened with that? Did they ever purchase the land, and they were supposed to like put the, I guess, food and grow food and I don't know what else it was going to do with it.
So we have the economic blueprint that is a standing ask for donations that helps us to be able to sustain the farmland that we have in Brumwood, Georgia, as well as in Michigan. So we have, for many years, we have grown crops from navy beans to watermelon to just a host of different crops to be able to feed the community and for people to be able to purchase healthy food that they don't have to guess where it came from.
So that was the purpose of them asking for the donation.
Yeah. And
so
now,
like a farm.
right, so you also have some other people that have been affiliated with the Nation of Islam, but this isn't something that the Nation of Islam itself. So you have Hereafter Farms that I believe there was a brother, and his name is Farrakhan. So you have the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that is the how would you put it? He is because Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the eternal leader of the Nation of Islam. However, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is our divine guide and reminder in our midst. And also, when you look at him being the example of us how to live, you look at a man who is 90 plus at this point that has not yielded to the forces of the forces that have traditionally stifled our progress in our community. He's an example of endurance. He's an example of integrity. And he's an example of someone who loves with a love that is demonstrated. So not only does, when you buy the final call, do you support the farmland that we have, but you also support independent education. There are schools all across the nation that through the mosque, we not only have a mosque where we have a place where we can talk about black people and how our divinity is directly connected to who we are as black people, but we also have a school that we don't have to, I mean, how long we been asking people, you know what I mean, or fighting the fact that we still got Christopher Columbus discovering America in the history book. Like, you know,
they don't want to let it go.
They don't want to let it go, you know what I'm saying? But like, you don't have to worry about that at Muhammad University of Islam.
Yeah.
Because it's an independent school where we can,
we know.
you know what I'm saying? Like, we can teach our community the true history. And we can center ourselves in the history, because every community, when you look at the origin story, you talk about the origin story of Chinese, Korean, you go to, you know, you deal with Russia or you deal with any place, they're going to give you the history and they're going to center themselves in that history and talk about who they are. Mexico, they're going to talk about who they are, they're going to raise their flag. So, because we have our own schools and because people support the final call and support, even when you buy the beanie pie, you know what I'm saying? Like, that money goes to us being able to create and sustain. Because long time ago we created, you know, our nation, but now we're sustaining and expanding the nation of Islam.
And we definitely